Welcome to On Purpose Coaching, where we challenge you to do better on purpose.
It's kind of like a very general question. So, basically, a lot of the things we just gave words for how I feel. Like, I know I've said that before. Kind of just breaking down, like, when I'm healthy, when I'm unhealthy, misaligned, and like what I need to do to grow, what I need to do in my marriage as a 7. I definitely am different in work versus home. And like, I can realize that I need to be a certain way when I'm scheduling people. I need to be a certain way when I'm listening to people. Like, I feel like a lot of people share a lot of stuff with me, and my job is to listen, not always to give advice and stuff. And then at home, I tend to be a little bit more aggressive, I guess, but not really. But like, I'm also more compliant because I'm a mom and I have to kind of go with the flow. But then, like, it's just good, I guess, just finding the balance in like when you're starting to like get set off in something or you're misaligned. Like, I've been very like all over the place this whole quarantine because I haven't had any bit of my outlet to do what I do. So I'm feeling very trapped. And then I start like nitpicking on stupid crap and I go to a 1. And then like, so I'm recognizing that and like I'm realizing that. So thinking a little bit more about like impulsive choices or just different things day to day that I'm doing and why I'm doing it, like finding the reason if it's healthy or unhealthy. So, okay. It's a lot of info, but that's a little bit.
What's one thing you think you bring to the relationship?
I definitely help Dan get out of this stay at home and stay the same all the time. We would still be in our old house living where we were living in a tiny little house if I didn't like have a little bit of like, let's just go for it. Let's just do it together.
So you bring that charismatic, trying to think of the word.
Like, we can't always just think about the what ifs, or we can't always just be like, no, we're safe here. It's like, well, we only live one life, so let's just go for it and see how it goes. We'll be doing it together, so it'll be great.
Okay. What's one thing you need in a relationship?
I would just like, basically just like, let me have a voice.
Okay.
Feel like I'm not bothering you, or I'm not an inconvenience when I come up with something. Sometimes when I say stuff, like I just say it to kind of see what he says. I don't necessarily have to do it, but I'm like, just throwing it past you. I'm like, let's see, what do you think? I do want to do it, but if you're going to come back with like this super negative, like, no, and then I'm going to be a burden, I'm like, okay.
I have gotten, I feel like a little bit better at that because like definitely when you're younger, you have no responsibilities. So like my 7 was way much, like a lot higher when I was younger. I would just do things. I was very just go enjoy life. But as you get older, like so you say with the home, and even like with her tattoos, she's like, I'm gonna go get some tats, blah blah. And I'm like, listen, that's not practical. Like, we need to pay our bills. She's like, I want to sleep. And I'm like,
oh my gosh, he's so intense.
And I'm like,
ridiculous.
Like, I don't think that's. And then I saw how much it was bothering her. Like, she's in her mind, she's like, I'm getting it no matter what. I would rather you be like, this is cool.
Forward with it, right?
Yeah. And I'm like,
because it's not like detrimental to anybody if I get a tattoo that I've wanted for like 30 years.
Yeah, and I'm like, if we were younger, I'd be like, cool. But I'm like, okay, yeah, I just have to go along with this and not care. And she's like, every time she adds to it, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Do whatever you want. Like.
But that's just it, right? So I asked her what she seeks in a relationship, and she seeks to be able to express herself.
Because I feel like I have some wisdom behind it. I'm not just like just spending all the money. I work hard for money that I bring in. We work hard for things that we live one life. Like, I'm not trying to just like go blow it, but I'm like, this would be something that means a lot to me. I've taken some time. Like, would you put me a value that you would say I would be worth getting that, and not judging me for it or thinking I was unwise?
So that one thing that you think is you're probably most misunderstood is that not taking what you say for value.
Yeah, like that I'm just like
fun.
as if I didn't think through all the steps and why I was doing it. Not that I appreciate his like wisdom and his like ideas, and I do take them into consideration. There's just times where over and over it seems to be more like I feel like I'm parented rather than like friendship, marriage, and it's like that makes me feel super trapped. Like that trapped and misunderstood is like it's the fear, I guess.
Yeah, and we talked about that, right? So in conversation with a 7, if you're Debbie Downer, you immediately have caused a barrier in communication. So you have to bring positivity and affirmation in order for the 7 to stay engaged. So that's good to hear. So what do others find frustrating or confusing about you? What's one thing?
What do other people find confusing? Is that
what do others find frustrating or confusing about you?
I don't know. I don't ask them. Maybe I should ask them.
That's a good question to ask. Yeah.
What do you guys feel about me that I can work on?
No, we're not. No, I'm interviewing you. When and where do you feel most comfortable?
Most comfortable, probably at home, just because I'm with the people that I don't feel that are gonna like put pressure on me or judge me, or where I can be me. And yeah, probably at home.
Okay.
Yes.
What's one thing that's hard to tell people in your relationships?
We should be recording this.
What should I be telling people? Is that the question?
No, what's one thing that's hard to tell people?
Oh, what's one thing that's hard to tell
your relationships with? Yeah.
That I don't. That I don't want to be trapped in. Can I have a time frame of a story? That would be good. That I don't like I'm okay. Trying to not
just say it.
I'm trying to like think about the words.
I'll say it for you.
Wait. Like, I don't like to not know when a start and a stop is. So like if you go, hey, give me 30 minutes of your time. Okay. Or if I don't have like an ending, I feel like I don't know how to judge how I'm supposed to receive and like how I'm supposed to stop everything that I'm already currently doing.
Okay.
I don't know if it really is.
So it's hard for you to tell people to give you boundaries.
Yeah.
She's talking about me.
Well, I mean, even the kids too. Like sometimes like they like interrupt me when I'm like in the middle of like listening to something, or in the middle of on the conversation on a phone. And I'm like, guys, you can't just start talking. I mean, I guess it's just like, it could be more misaligned now because I've literally been stuck at home forever. And normally I do love to be home and have that time, but I also love to be in my own space at work, which I haven't had for a long time, which is like just peaceful in a sense to me too. So now maybe I should look at that more like I'm more peaceful at work, but I haven't been at work, so my peace is only at home now. I don't even know.
Okay. How do you like to be loved?
I'm a big acts of service, like a thoughtfulness behind something. Like I don't really like gifts per se. That's actually like my lowest. But like if somebody put a lot of thought into something about me, and like even just for example, like if somebody's like, hey, I know she says let your light shine. I know she likes purple, teal, and they like come up with something that has those little things. Like those are simple, but I'm like, oh, they really thought about that and like didn't just go get me something that was just like, oh, this is cool. Here you go. I don't want just a gift. So like, or like for me, like just cleaning up the kitchen without asking, or like the kids take out the garbage. I'm like, good job. Like that is super helpful. I appreciate that.
Okay. And then what's one thing you wish people would help you with?
The garbage.
The garbage. I guess just taking initiative to do things rather than me always. I hate to ask for help. Like I really hate that. I'm like totally independent, totally can do it myself. So like I have to like remember like, okay, I can do this myself, but like I'm not going to make like the kids, for example, I'm not going to make them better as they get older if I do everything for them. I'm not going to be there always to tell them, don't forget to take out the garbage, don't forget to do your homework, don't forget to do this. Like, if you just after a while like start to like realize this is important, this is what I should do. Like, I like to like create independence in my kids. Like, I like to be like, hey, you're doing a really great job. Like, I'm an encourager. Like, when I recognize like somebody like they do something without me asking, I'm like, good job. I'm like really proud of you for doing that. I didn't even have to remind you, because it's like helpful teamwork. Like, I love team atmospheres.
Okay. So Dan, lastly, what's one thing you just learned about your wife that you didn't know before?
I mean, we've been working on a lot of this recently.
What about what you were saying about like me leaving at a party? Why don't you go to that? Because that was something you kind of brought up.
Yeah. Well, are you talking about like just for these questions, or like over the last couple of weeks?
Either.
Yeah, like if we go to a party or an event or whatever, and we get there, or even like here with like the neighbors, like she'll say, I so much just want to communicate with you and I want to spend time with you. And I'm like, okay, that's what I want too. And then I start talking and she's like engaged. And then she looks out the window while I'm talking, like 10 seconds into it, how she's been telling me all day, I can't wait till you get home. I just want to spend time with you. And she sees some of the neighbors going out to congregate. And she like immediately pats me on the back and says, love you. I got to go hang out with them.
I don't do it quite like that.
And hold on. It's my time.
Okay.
And she'll take off and go out and hang out with them until whatever time. And I'm like inside thinking everything. Now I drop to my 5 and I go into all the analytical of, she told me all of these things. Every one of them, was it a lie? Because as soon as she saw so-and-so walk out, now she wants to go hang out with them. And I'm like, she literally likes them more than me. And so all these things start to play through my head. And I'm like, everything just comes crashing down. But over these like weeks, I'm like, I am one way. She is another way. And I don't see the fact, like, if I get home and I want to talk to my wife, I don't care who goes outside. I want to talk to my wife. And I'm like, she just sees things differently. And like, she knows, I always felt like she feels there's a security here or wherever I am. And so she feels able to go out and do things, but I never connected that she literally sees life through a different lens. And I am that security, but she's like, oh, squirrel. It's not that I love them more or have like a more intimate feeling of them.
Right. I
just like to see what's going on. What are they talking about? And then I can come back in and we can finish up.
Exactly.
Well, like, a lot of times I would go do that and then I'd come back in and he'd be like silent treatment the whole rest of the night because I did that. And it's like, I didn't mean
that was the miscommunication though, right? That was the misunderstanding that he thought something else was more important. But really, as he's starting to walk through this, he's like, no, she likes squirrels and butterflies and she likes to go check them out and see what's happening. And then she wondered, and that's why I sent that about leaving the gate open.
Yeah. And like, I understand where he comes from because I don't want to like hurt his feelings, or like, I do see it from his point of view, but it's like, I look at it as like, I start to like kind of segment time frames and put things in order. And maybe that's not healthy, but I'm like, well, they're only going to be out for like another 45 minutes. Maybe I can go say hi to them, but he's going to be here all night. And like, he's probably going to go inside, take a shower. By the time he comes down, I will be out and maybe back in shortly after. So it'll just work out time-wise better.
Yeah.
So that's where my mind goes, but yes.
I literally was just going to say, I can see it's the like missed opportunity because you see it, it's going to be over. I need to jump on it. We can come back and talk. And I run into that too.
Yeah. And that's how Sam described herself on the interview. She was like, I will go to I could be in a whole other state and I will go to an event with friends and I will leave them to go meet new people and go mingle and to go see the new happenings or what's going on. And then that's a struggle, right? Because then she's like, I want to hone my core relationships and be closer to people, but yet I'm always leaving them. So I'm like, that has to be like a struggle for her. So just starting to be aware of those different things. I do have this slide, I won't go into it. So this is meant for the different numbers each week for you to deep dive into these yourself. So you can start to go into more of how do I begin to grow? and I have that in here for you. And again, your virtue that you want to eventually reach is internal sobriety, so that you're not seeking for the neighbors or for other stuff to fill you up, but that you can be content and then spend time with your husband and be okay in whatever environment that you're in, whether you're at work or whether you're at home. So seeking fulfillment by running after the things and experiences never brings true contentment, but obviously inviting Jesus in does that for you. So, all right, let's hear for the 7s. The 7s are amazing. Sweet.
Whoop, whoop.
So yes. Thank you for tuning in to On Purpose Coaching with your coach, Joanie Bob. Make sure to subscribe down there in the right-hand corner and like my videos if they made an impact on you today. Visit my website, onpurposeplanningandconsulting.com, and sign up for your next step in practical improvement. Use code Enneagram for 50% off a one-time coaching session until the end of July this year. Believe me, it will be worth every penny. Again, thank you for listening today to On Purpose Coaching, where we challenge you to do better on purpose.